And good Tuesday morning. Welcome to episode 31 of the Inside Drive podcast. You're probably wondering why I always wear the same thing on Tuesdays. That's the superstitious person in me. UA basketball has yet to lose a game, and hopefully we'll continue that with wearing the same outfit that I wear every Tuesday. I'm happy to be joined by Coach Sam Clement. He's the University Academy lead PE coach and also the baseball head coach for UA. Excited to talk to him here in just a second. Talk a little UA school athletics, talk a little college football playoffs, talking about, they have the tentative reclassifications out for all the football teams in the state of Florida. I don't really know where they started, so maybe Coach Sam does, and then we can see if they're moving to a new classification or not. But first, as always, Golf Plus, we appreciate them sponsoring the show. Any golfers who want to improve their score, Golf Plus is the place to be in Bay County with the tools and expertise to help you. Golf Plus has been featured in Golf and Golf Digest magazine as the top club fitters in the country, and they certainly deserve it. Their fitting studio will blow you away with the selection of brands and models of clubs and the shafts you can try out. The putting green is also filled with all the latest and greatest brands you could possibly want. The repair shop, second to none. Tour van quality repairs every time and fast too. Golf Plus is your fitting studio and repair shop on the beach. Renovations to the shop, I believe, are all finished at this point, including adding that second simulator. Just a reminder, you can also play golf there on the simulator if you want to. Obviously, it's been pretty darn cold the last few days. Probably not a lot of people going outside and playing golf, but you can give Golf Plus a call at 850-249-2726 or head over to golfplusretail.com to book some simulator time. Obviously, you can book your fitting appointments as well. Currently, they got some holiday sales going on, 25% off all junior clubs, 25% off all in-stock shoes. As y'all know, all my sponsors are located basically in the Edgewater shops. They're right next to Firefly there in the Edgewater Shopping Plaza. We'll talk about Panhandle Credit Union here in just a little bit. But first, let's join our guest, Coach Sam. Coach Sam, I appreciate you coming on today.
Man, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. I feel like this was a long time in the making. When I was doing the radio before, we tried to find a way to get you on the radio show, but obviously with you being a teacher at the school has to be out, and sometimes when school is out, I'm not doing my shows. But this week we are. Next week we'll probably be off the 23rd and naturally the 25th being Christmas. Coach Sam, first off, congratulations on becoming a new dad.
Thank you. Shout out to the wife for holding the fort down. I appreciate you and love you.
Absolutely. Shout out to all the wives and moms out there as the Christmas season. As a lot of people saw on Facebook, I'm not a good wrapper of presents. I don't think if you're a male, you're a good wrapper at presents.
You got to be born with it.
Absolutely. It's a quality trait that not everybody gets. So shout out to all the moms out there wrapping those presents. I always joke around and say, the dads are seeing what the presents are for the first time, too, in addition to the kids.
Yes.
And it's not always the case, but sometimes for sure. You're the lead PE coach and the head baseball coach over there at University Academy.
Yes, sir.
What was your journey that led you to UA?
So my dream was to always be the Bay High School PE coach. That was always my dream. I was playing baseball at University of West Florida and doing some student teaching stuff. So once my baseball career ended, I had an interview with Wes Smith and Daniel Davidson and Miss Forehand, and they wanted me to come on and just be a para for a little bit with Bradley Stanford. I bet you've had a meeting with him before. So had a meeting with them, became the para, became a student teacher. Then my first job was actually at Bay High, and I missed UA so much. It was so great. The kids are amazing. And Bradley ended up doing what he loves doing with the CrossFit and everything. Job came open. And I applied for it, and I got it. So
and the rest is history.
Yes, it's the best job ever.
So your baseball career, what got you into playing baseball?
I just loved being active. So really just growing up, it was just football, baseball.
Yeah.
Just all the way growing up. And it was perfect because they're just two different seasons, football, fall, baseball in spring. And so really just playing it with all my friends and everything. Rec league back then was huge.
Yeah.
And it's finally starting to come back a little bit, which I'm so happy about.
Yep, absolutely.
But then once travel ball came, we all kind of went to the same middle school, then kind of moved through high school and everything. So I was never really the best player, but it was really just playing with your friends and then just working hard at it that really just made you fall in love with it.
The grind for sure. So you said football and baseball. Would you encourage kids nowadays to play multiple sports growing up?
If your coach tells you to not play another sport, you need to find a new coach.
Leave that team.
Words from Tom Glavine, I believe. And I 100% agree in that. You work different muscles in football than you do in baseball. You work different muscles in baseball than you do in football. Play both. A lot of football players play basketball. A lot of baseball players play football. Soccer's great too, especially at a young age. A young age, soccer's very, very good to learn those motor skills and everything. My son will be doing that. He will be, for sure.
Endurance too is just crazy in soccer.
Yes.
If you can
100%.
play soccer, if you can play soccer, you can almost play every other sport from a fitness endurance standpoint.
100%.
Especially if you're a midfielder running up and down that field like
100%.
crazy.
Yeah.
You mentioned it too, UA. You just love UA. But the kids at UA really love you too.
Yeah.
What is it about what you do that you love so much over there at UA?
I think the answer is kind of in the questions, the kids. The kids are so great. They're so well-mannered. There's nothing like walking into school and the kids' favorite part of the day is PE.
Yeah.
Like, they just love PE. I kind of do it. I mean, all PE coaches are different. Some people have their niches and all that stuff. I love doing games with the kids.
Yeah.
Competition games, scoring games, just all the things with them, and they love it so much too. I've kind of found that groove with those kids.
Awesome.
And that group and everything. So really just the kids. People I work with, Principal Forehand's great. Mr. Smith is great. All the other teachers. My pairs are great. Shout out to Coach Danielle. She's awesome. Everything's great about it, man. It's just so good. And a lot of them are athletic too, which is crazy to find. Yes, your daughter and your son. Example A and B. I mean, they're so competitive, but they just love doing everything.
Yep.
So it's
certainly
great.
so much fun. And when the school has a PE teacher like yourself, it just makes it easier on the parents because they know they're going and they're staying active. They're still working on all those different things that, outside of school you're trying to work on as a parent as well. So it's really cool to have, you be there. So we know when our kids are at PE, they're actually getting reps, getting more competitive stuff, doing athletic stuff, and that makes a big difference when you're a parent at home knowing what your kids are doing at school. Pretty awesome stuff. Another thing that I know Liam is really excited about this year, I feel like he's been waiting for this because his sister was in it 3 straight years in a row, so he got to go to it many a time. But how fun is it to run the UA Junior Olympic team?
The Junior Olympics is so fun because the kids see the PE side of me, but they don't really see the competitive side of me. But Junior Olympics, it comes out.
Brings all that out.
It comes out. And so we've been kind of, I don't know a good word to say it, the past couple years. They haven't gotten our scores correcely.
Yeah, I had that in there, but I was,
It's just.
Well, and last year we were in the wrong division, right?
Yeah, they've had things confused. We got it fixed this year.
Good.
So they put us in big school, and they were like, well, your population is this number. And I'm like, no, that's the whole school.
Yeah.
We're just talking about K through 5 here.
Elementary, yep.
And we went up against, Bayhaven, North Bayhaven, Northside, all these schools who have, a couple thousand kids.
Yep.
We only have a couple hundred
Yeah.
in elementary. So for us to go out there, I believe we placed 3rd last year. But we won girls 4x1 and 4x2, and they didn't count those scores for us. We timed them and everything on both heats. We timed them. They didn't give us any points there. We got 3rd place for girls tug of war. They didn't give us those points. So they're doing stuff this year, like for track and field and everything. They're getting the self-timers so people don't have to hand time anymore.
Yeah,
that they can get those right, because it would be me and 5 other people just timing them.
Yep.
And it's like those can get mixed up so easily at any point in time. So you're trying to coach, you're trying to time another kid, you're trying to do all the things. They're trying to get that worked out. So I hope it does, and I hope we can take it home this year.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
I mean, being in the right division in itself is very important. I mean, I don't know how it all works, but I remember we did so well last year, and then when they started doing the awards and all that stuff, I was like, I'm confused why we got 3rd.
Oh, I know.
And then found out, I guess, started going through the grapevine that we were in the large elementary division, despite being so small, compared to all those teams. But it also shows, we were in the wrong division, but like you said, it also shows how well we competed, even with schools that have double the population in elementary that we do. So,
and we added the points up. we won.
Yeah.
I mean, if they would have kept those
Not that
points
we're
in
bitter
there-
or anything.
Yeah, no, I don't remember any of it at all.
But getting back to that, I know Liam is so excited now. He's in 5th grade that he's at the top of the junior Olympic hierarchy at this point. So
yes,
apparently this event has really become a big special thing for all the elementary school kids, because obviously they're not in middle school yet, so they can't compete in middle school sports, which I know is coming next year for us with Liam. So I'm very excited about that. Kind of the same thing we've been talking about, but what makes UA sports, this middle school sports, so special in general?
I think it's just everyone just is. It's a culture thing.
Yep.
Everyone is so involved, parents and students, teachers, and administration. I mean, you'll see the CEO, Mr. Smith, go to all these basketball games. It's because he loves it. All these coaches love it. All the teachers love it. And the kids thrive in it.
Yes.
The kids ask the coaches, what can I do after school? They ask what is going to make me better and everything. It's just a culture thing. I think everyone wants to be the best at UA on and off the field. And so when they want to be the best, they're going to ask, and they want advice and everything.
Yeah, they want to keep getting better. I mean, that's the same with academics and sports.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive to have both of those at one place. You talk about the buy-in and all that stuff. Just for example, we've got a championship game coming up tonight, or this afternoon, I should say. UA girls trying to stay undefeated and win the county championship. They're going up against Moet, who beat Bayhaven. I guess a little surprising on that, but we had just knocked off Bayhaven to be the number 1 seed. And, talk about how important this gym has been for us, the Jacob C. Fish Gymnasium. And I dare to say that we probably, in middle school sports, might have the best home court advantage in the county.
100%. Because all of our parents show up.
Yep.
And we have a great student section. I don't know how it'll be tonight, of course. But, I mean, at PE, we're always announcing the games, start times, the little student section, what they need to be wearing and everything. So the kids love it. The home court advantage is great. We got our own side. And I actually messed up against Breakfast Point. I put the Breakfast Point girls on our side, and I completely messed up. I was like, y'all, you got to go. You can't be there anymore. Like, this is our mojo and everything. So I actually messed that up. But it's been great having the gym, because we can work on the basketball skills during basketball season.
Yep.
We can work on the volleyball skills during volleyball season. So that part's been just phenomenal in itself.
It's really the one thing we were quote unquote missing at the campus was a field and a gym, and we took care of both of those basically in 1 year.
Yeah,
which was pretty good stuff.
Oh yeah.
I know that the semifinal game was last Friday, and my last show was last Thursday. So I just want to give a huge shout out to all the girls in that semifinal game. That was the first time we'd ever had any adversity the whole season. Really, we were down 13-4 after the first quarter, and the girls just kind of kept chipping back and had a huge second quarter and got it within, I think, 6 or 8 going into halftime. And then they could have given, like Coach Toole said, they could have gave up, but they never did. They kept playing for each other, playing for their families, all that stuff. It was just so fun. That was one of the craziest games I've ever been a part of. Ended up winning by 2, 33-31, because that girl had got fouled shooting a 3 late in the game. So she technically had 3 shots to tie the game up. But the pressure that would be for someone is just probably a little too overwhelming. But big shout out to all the girls on that team: Aubrey, Ryan, Ava. I'm going to miss a bunch, I'm sure. And poor Ella. A shout out to Ella Homestead. She's been balling out all season long and ended up breaking her wrist in the semifinal game. But I know she'll be there this afternoon cheering her fellow teammates on. Tiffany, who's been fighting a knee injury. Emma Skaggs, who won't be there tonight. She's on vacation. If I see Chris, I'm going to tell him you need to not schedule something the last week, because we're out of school this week where the rest of the district is not out of school. So a lot of parents and families will take vacation this first week. But, a few more of the, I think it's Zariah's on the team. Lucy. Brielle, Torres. And then Ellie, I don't know Ellie's last name off the top of my head. She's gotten a lot of action this year, playing point later in the games, when, I don't want to say when the games were over, but when we had a good enough lead. And that's what Coach Toole, fantastic coach, him and his wife, Erin, Amanda McDaniel, has been helping out as well. But like you said, it's just this buy-in, this culture that we have over there. It's just been so much fun. And then the boys soccer team's trying to go back-to-back county championship. Their game is tomorrow at 3:30, excuse me. They moved it up to be enough time with the light. They're going against BPA. That'll be at UA as well. Yesterday's semifinal game was a little chilly out there.
Very.
I dropped Ryan off at basketball practice and then watched the game with Liam and Jet. But yeah, UA culture and all that good stuff is pretty good. Did want to ask you too, Coach Sam, about your brother who's had a heck of a season at Bay High this past year. Bay High obviously had a monster season. I think they were something in 2 going into the playoffs.
8-2, 9-2.
Great season. Yeah. One of the better seasons they've had in recent years. But talk about your brother and how much that means to you being able to watch him play and be so successful.
It's just crazy growing up with someone and, him just loving football, doing the flag football like Liam does and all the things. And then him going out just his sophomore year and just balling out.
Just balling out. That's the easiest way to say it for sure.
No one expected it. I mean, that Mosley game, I hate to say it, but I had to miss that game. My wife and I went to Callaway Gardens for a vacation, so I was watching it on YouTube.
The good thing is you can still watch it on
that was great.
YouTube.
It was great. But, I mean, no one expected him. I mean, you had Amari Johnson, JT, and the other receiver, who's also a sophomore. He's great. He got first team All-County. DJ, he got first team All-County.
Wow.
So you got 3 really good receivers, and you got a little white boy. I mean, who you're not really going to guard hard. But it was actually him against Kingston Paul throughout the whole game. So 2 UA boys that play on the same travel 7-on-7 team. So it was good competition, but just so proud of him. And, I mean, he had a good rest of the year. I know he's very competitive and he's pretty hard on himself, so he always wants more.
Yep.
And he always compares himself to JT and Amari. Like, I know I can do that. I know I can do these things also. But it's also like, hey, buddy, you're a sophomore.
Yep.
You're not a senior. Your time's going to come. So really excited for the next year. We got a lot of good players coming back. We lost a lot of good players. But I think it'll be another good year for the Tornadoes.
Awesome. Looking forward to seeing it, that's for sure. That's one thing that, the high school football, we've got a little bit of, difference between teams across the county, but we always have, we had 4 teams make the playoffs this year in the county, and 2 of those teams hosted first round playoff games. So Bay County football is on the up and up. Got great coaches, a lot of good feeder programs, which is starting to try to hopefully get a little more concise so it's not so separated all over the place. But like one of the things you said, that 7-on-7 football is just such a great thing for players that want to get better. And even 7-on-7 as you get older, you may get more recruited out of 7-on-7 than you do out of playing high school football. Yeah. So I encourage 7-on-7 as much as I possibly can. It's fun. It's fast. It's especially for quarterbacks. You have 4 seconds to get rid of the ball, which is much more realistic of playing tackle football. Let's pivot over to the college football playoff.
Let's do it.
You're a Bama fan, right?
Roll Tide.
There you go. Seems like all my guests are Bama fans. I need to find some.
It's a trend.
A trend or I know some people just jumped on it. I don't think that was you, but a lot of other people that I know kind of the thing. But who do you think is going to win the college football playoff? Obviously, it gets started Friday night with your Alabama Crimson Tide playing the Oklahoma Sooners. First off, who wins that game? Tough to beat a team twice.
It's tough to beat a team twice. So when we played Georgia in the SEC championship, I knew the odds were not in our favor for that game. You beat them at home. That's the game to win. SEC championship, hard to beat a team twice. We just keep beating ourselves up.
Yeah.
I think with a week off, Kalen DeBoer, I like Kalen DeBoer. I don't love him, but I like him. He's just been inconsistent through the couple of years.
Yep.
But you've lost to Oklahoma twice. Now's the time. 3rd time's the charm. I love where we're at because we beat Oklahoma. I think we're the best team to beat Indiana. I really do. Because they just beat Ohio State. They think their crap don't stink, all the things. I really think we have a good chance against them too. I would love to show up the Big Ten. I really would. That would be great. I would love it.
Probably a common feel of the of SEC fans.
Yes.
I'm sure the Big Ten feels the same way going back the other way. But that's the first game that really gets that gets our college football playoff kicked off. That's Friday night, 7 p.m. our time, and then Saturday is where most of the other games get started. Starts with Miami, Texas A&M at noon, and then Ole Miss and Tulane at 3:30, and then Oregon at JMU at 7:30. Right now, Ohio State has the best odds to win the national championship, followed by Indiana, Georgia, Oregon, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Miami, Alabama, and Alabama's at plus 2250, which may be a good bet to take. A lot of value there. And Ole Miss also 2250, Oklahoma 50-1, and then obviously James Madison and Tulane are plus $1 million.
They put Miami over Alabama.
In this is on Hard Rock anyway. Again,
That's
Miami
crazy.
20-1, Alabama plus 2250.
That's crazy.
Realistically, who do you think wins the championship?
Last year, Ohio State lost to Michigan. Then they woke up.
Yep.
This year, Ohio State loses to Indiana. They're probably going to wake up, in my opinion. I would hate to see Ohio State or Georgia do it, but I can definitely see it being one of those two teams. I really do. Georgia's playing. Gunnar Stockton's playing great.
Yep. Their defensive line is insane.
Julian Sain's playing really good. I mean, he had a lot of pressure against Indiana, but I mean, it was a Cinderella story for the Indiana quarterback.
Yep.
I mean, he deserved to win that game, but they're not going to win the national championship. There's no way. I think if I were to put money on it, I would put money on Ohio State.
Yep, I think that's the sentiment of probably most people that were to bet the national championship.
But roll Tide.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, if you're in the playoff, anybody can make anything happen.
It's gonna be good.
It should be a fun one. I'm excited to watch it coming up tonight. Let's see. This might be tough for me to scroll through. But these aren't official yet. These are the tentative classifications for the 2026 and 2027. Hard to believe we're saying 2027 already.
It's crazy.
Football conferences. So some local ones. Bluntstown in the rural. I don't think that's changed. Cottondale in the rural. These are all rural schools. Such a tough word for me to say as a northerner because I have to use 2 syllables on most things. Holmes County, Port St. Joe. Taylor County, I think, is fairly close. I'm not sure. Weewahitchka. Let's go to the 1A classification. I'm just trying to see if I see any local schools that I'm trying to read through quickly here. We've got several teams from the Lakeland, Tampa area in 1A, which is pretty crazy. All right, I think our first one's going to be 2A once we get to it. Pensacola Catholic, 2A. Walton, 2A. Florida High, 2A, Gadsden County, 2A, North Bay Haven, 2A, Rutherford, 2A. Is that the same classifications they were in last year? Who else we got here? A lot of teams. And this becomes official, I believe, on the 17th or the 19th, actually.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm going through it fast, trying my best here. We got Keith Flemming coming up here soon. All right, 3A classifications. Region 1 that's Wolfson all the way over there in Jacksonville. They do separate it by region. I don't know why I didn't look at that earlier. Let's see. 4A action. 4A Region 1. You've got Childs, Leon, Lincoln, Mosley, and Rickards in the 4A Region 1 group. Is that about the way it was this year?
Yep.
Bay's not in 4A.
Where was Niceville? Did you say Niceville?
No. Niceville's not in that. It doesn't look like Region 1 there.
Okay.
Rickards, Mosley, Lincoln, Leon, Childs. Oh, no, the Region 1 keeps going. Sorry. All right. So I said Childs, Mosley, and then it goes Rickards, Columbia, Ed White, Edgewood, Rybalt, Riverside, Yulee, Clay, Fleming Island, Middleburg, Orange Park, St. Augustine. St. Augustine is one of the big powerhouses here in the state of Florida. A tough draw for sure. All right. 4A. Is Bay 5A?
No shot. They would have to be 3 if Mosley's 4.
I might have missed it.
Yeah.
Go back here in a second. Yep, 5A. Region 1 is Crestview, Navarre, Niceville,
Wow.
Pace. So Niceville went up at Tate, Bartram Trail, Beachside, First Coast, Fletcher, Mandarin, Nice, which is out of Ponte Vedra, Beltville, Buchholz. I know, didn't Mosley play Buchholz last year or the year before, or maybe this year? And then Matanzas, which is out of Palm Coast, Oakleaf, South Marion, West Point, Evans, Lake Mineola, Oak Ridge, South Lake. That rounds out your Region 1. I'm going to go back to 3. I might have missed Bay. I didn't realize it said Group 1 right next to it.
I can't believe Niceville went up.
They'll probably still play Mosley, I would think, though, right?
Oh, yeah. They would make that a regular.
It just wouldn't be a district game.
Lincoln had a good year, too.
All right, Region 1, 3A. Stop. All right, yep. Bay, Pensacola, Pine Forest, South Walton, West Florida, Baker County, Godby, Suwannee, Wakulla, Bishop Kinney, Paxton, Rains, Terry Parker, Menendez, Palanca, West Side, and then Wolfson, and that rounds out 3A Region 1.
There's one school that worries me, and that's Pine Forest.
Yep.
They're disgusting.
They've been good for a long time, right?
They're really, really good. They always get a couple guys going SEC. I mean, just big schools.
Gotcha.
So, that's going to be tough. Yeah. Pine Forest is really good. But besides that, everything else was about the same.
Solid, about the same.
Was West Florida 2A? Or did you say West Florida for 3?
So 2A, I just went right back to them, is Destin, Freeport, Pensacola Catholic, Walton, Florida High, Gadsden County, North Bay Haven, Rutherford, Andrew Jackson, Baldwin, Bowles, Episcopal, KPP, Bold City, and that rounds it out.
Okay.
I didn't hear Arnold at any of those.
Uh-uh.
I'm going to do the old Control F. .4A, Region 1.
Okay.
They were on a different page.
Yeah.
They were on the page before.
Okay.
So, yeah, 4A, Region 1 is starts with Choctawhatchee, Escambia. Escambia, that's a tough one. Fort Walton Beach, Gulf Breeze, Milton, Washington, Arnold, Childs, Leon, Lincoln, Mosley. So now Arnold and Mosley are in the same region. That's tough. That is tough.
That's a bad beat. That's a bad
Sorry,
beat.
Coach Griff.
Oh.
I'm sure he has some thoughts on that.
But this isn't finalized, though.
No, this is the tentative ones, and I'm sure the coaches have the ability to appeal and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So then once we learn the final classifications, we'll keep you guys updated, because that'd be tough for the Arnold Marlins to be in the same class and a region as the Mosley Dolphins. That'll make that annual game a district game.
I mean, if they're basing it off student size like they have in the past,
yeah,
I can believe it with Arnold. I mean, being the only school on the beach and everything, I can definitely believe that.
For sure.
And Mosley, I mean, they just get so many kids over there.
Yep. They're kind of the vacuum of all the kids. Real quick, before we take a quick break to get with Keith Flemming, Panhandle Credit Union, the quality relationships they have with our community is what Panhandle Credit Union is all about, whether it is sponsoring an event, donating to a cause, providing loan options, or setting people up with great banking products. Panhandle Credit Union is here to serve those who live, work, worship, or attend school here in Bay and other surrounding counties. Together, Panhandle Credit Union builds community. Visit panhandlecu.org or swing by any location to join. And welcome back to the Inside Drive, episode 31. We've been hanging out with Coach Sam, the lead PE coach and head coach of the University Academy baseball team. But now we're joined by Keith Flemming on the line, our DFS expert and NFL chatter that I enjoy talking to every week. Keith, how are you doing today?
I cannot complain. How about you, Ryan?
If I complained, no one would listen anyway. So I'm doing great, excited. We got a huge championship basketball game coming up this afternoon. And as I've been telling everybody all day, I've never been more excited for one of my kids' games than this afternoon. So I can't wait to get in the stands and cheer the UA Lady Eagles on. Let's jump into
good
some.
Luck to Ryan.
Thank you. Let's jump into some NFL conversation. What were your thoughts on Phillip Rivers' performance? 44 years old, 10 kids. He's a grandfather. Hadn't played since 2020. Went out there and kind of kept the Colts in the game for a little while, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be too brutal because the guy's 44 years old. He hadn't played in, several years. But, I mean, most of his passes reminded me, if you've ever, like when I'm throwing to my nephew who's 3, you kind of try to lob it up as softly as possible. But unfortunately, I think that was just all he has left in his arm. I think he did everything right in the terms of, obviously making some audibles and adjustments and, not turning the ball over, et cetera. But I think I saw he had 2 passes that traveled more than 5 air yards.
Yep.
It's going to be rough for Indy moving forward. I feel really sorry for him. And I got to say that I would start Riley Leonard if he's healthy over Philip Rivers. I know that their playoff chances are pretty much done at this point, but I just, that's a tough scenario when defenses can just know you're not going to be able to throw the
Yeah,
ball
and you have
over the
no
top.
mobility at all,
Hmm.
too, so you can just bring the house constantly. And I mean, it was kind of wild that Seattle had to win with just field goals. I mean, because the Colts defense is still pretty good. Would they have to kick 5 field goals to win that game and then kick kind of a late game field goal to finally take the lead? So the fact that the Colts were even ahead in the game was kind of pretty crazy. But you still got Jonathan Taylor running the ball. So
Hmm.
anytime you have him running the ball, that's a good thing. That's for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned the field goals. Jason Myers, by the way, what a season! He has more points than Nico Collins, Chase Brown, CeeDee Lamb, and Justin Jefferson, and he would rank at each position as QB 20, RB 15, wide receiver 7, and tight end 2 on the year. Unbelievable stuff.
Tight end 2 is pretty wild. That's a lot of points for a kicker, but also shows you why kickers are important in regular fantasy football. I mean, just ask everybody that had Braden Aubrey that ended up coming back in, or no, excuse me, Dicker the kicker that not this week but last week. Everybody who had it,
Yep.
some of those people ended up winning their matchup simply because Dicker. All right,
20 points, man.
yeah, 20 points is crazy. The Chiefs lost and Mahomes suffered an ACL tear. Dynasty now officially over.
I
I know.
mean, I
I
think
know.
we had
Last
this
week,
question
yeah,
last week, and I said, yes, this version of it is done. What's crazy to think about, and I read this morning, is the trajectory of Mahomes and Brady's careers, at least in terms of success, is almost identical at this point. I believe that Brady uh, also got injured in either his eighth or ninth season. They both had 3 Super Bowl wins at that time. Mahomes has been to one extra Super Bowl, obviously lost. Mahomes is coming off a Super Bowl loss, which, if you remember when Brady got hurt in '08, he was coming off the '07 undefeated season loss, which is crazy because the Chiefs are coming off a loss in a Super Bowl where they're trying to do something no team in NFL history had done, which is win 3 straight Super Bowls, just like Brady's team was trying to become the first team in NFL history to go undefeated in the modern era. I know the Dolphins did, but that was only like 14 games. Uh, I think he'll be back. It'll be, okay in the long run. The bigger question is what happens with Andy Reid. I think he's 68 years old. How much longer is he going to stick
yep,
around? Do they want to, make a change immediately? It's going to be wild to not see the Chiefs in the postseason. I think I read that this is the first time since like either 99 or 2000 that Brady,
Brady.
Manning, and Mahomes were
Or
not in a
98. Yep, I saw that
postseason.
one too.
Wow,
Yeah, which
that's
is just
that's
crazy.
just nuts. And but Kansas City's going to get obviously a better draft pick than what they've been used to in the Mahomes era. That's a pretty good front office. I expect them to sort of, it may take a year or two, but I expect them to be back. The bigger question is, like, I'm assuming Kelsey retires. Do they, maybe unload some of these guys like, Chris Jones, give him an opportunity, in the later stage of his career to try to win some. But it's going to be tough. The AFC has a lot of talented,
Yes,
young teams led by talented young
young
quarterbacks,
quarterbacks are
making
on
it
rookie deals
it's
still.
yep, it's not going to be as easy as it has appeared to be for the Chiefs. At least this far in Mahomes' career.
Yep, absolutely. I think we might have talked about this last week too. Obviously, Josh Allen had a big win last week. He's had to put the team on his back so many times. But if they win that division, that win over the Patriots last week was huge for that potential opportunity. Do you think they're the favorite to win the AFC Championship?
Yeah, I do. And last week I said I didn't think that they could win 3 games on the road. I got to admit, like, I hate this saying, but that team showed me a lot in that come from behind win. People like Dave Portnoy and a lot of other Patriots fans, I guess it's been a while since they've been, a winner. So they forgot, like, rule number one, you don't want to be gloating too much until the game's over. And it was just a phenomenal performance by Allen, who continues to be just sensational in the second half. In the second half of that game, 73% completion percentage, almost 200 total yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 120 passer rating. And that follows a theme this season where Allen, in the second half this season, over 80% completion percentage, 2,300 yards, 24 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions, and a 117 passer rating. And I just think that they're going to be the most confident team, in that AFC because they have Superman, right? Like they have the
Yep.
guy that can get it done when it matters. Now, the issue is going to be it's not a great sign when you can't stop the run, in the NFL postseason. Like that's not good. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. I don't think Ed Oliver is scheduled to come back. I'm pretty sure he's done for the year. And you can just run it on them. We saw that with, they made the huge comeback, and then Travion Henderson, in a
Yeah.
blink of an eye, took the lead right back. And to their credit, they came back and won anyway. But they've got to figure out a way to slow down the run because that's what postseason football is really about.
Controlling the football,
Is
running the
Yep,
football. Yep, absolutely.
exactly.
Did you see Drake May on that one big run he had in the second half? That's what gets your team to believe in you and have your 100% support. When you run 40, 50 yards down the field to block for your running back who just broke a huge one, and you get past him too, and then block that guy. That was pretty impressive stuff. Drake May's having an absolutely spectacular year. I think the MVP comes down to either him or Matt Stafford. They'll probably give it to Matt Stafford because Drake May's so young. Who is your Super Bowl favorite, Keith? And then I've got the odds here for Hard Rock for anybody who bets here in Hard Rock. Got the Rams at plus 350, Seahawks at plus 700, Broncos at plus 800, Bills at plus 800, Eagles at plus 1100, Texans at plus 1200, Patriots at plus 1200, Packers at plus 1400, even though they just lost Micah Parsons. The Jaguars, who would have been thinking they would be in the top 10 of rankings or odds to win the Super Bowl, plus 1750. Niners are 20-1. And then the Ravens are 22 plus 2250. Same thing with the Los Angeles Chargers. Who's your favorite and who's a good value in your opinion?
So I'm a little surprised that the Rams are, the favorite, not because the Rams aren't, in my opinion, one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the NFL, but man, like if you don't have the number 1 seed in the NFC, the wild card matchups are gonna be brutal.
Brutal.
Like no
Yep.
matter how you look at it, you're gonna play either the Bears or the Packers. You're gonna play either the Seahawks or the Rams. Like and then your Niners too, right? Like those are teams that I don't think anybody wants to start their playoffs with. But I would say the Super Bowl favorites right now should be, the Rams and the Bills. The sleeper though is the team I've been talking about for the last few weeks. Those Houston Texans,
Yep.
man. I
Everybody's
just
forgetting about them, and they look spectacular. I've been watching several of their games, and they look
Stroud's
good.
looking a lot better,
Yep.
right?
And
Like
their
now they
defense
have
is
the
probably the best in the
defense.
NFL.
That's what it is. I mean, the defense is just incredible. And then they're able to now, move the football as Stroud does seem to be getting better as the season goes on. Nico Collins is still one of the best and most unstoppable receivers in the league. And, defense travels, right? So, like, normally you think an indoor dome team, well, that's not good for them if they're going to places like Buffalo, New England, etc. I think that team would thrive in those kind of conditions because it hurts to
Yep.
get hit when it's really cold. And I don't know if there's any team that hits harder than the Houston Texans. On the NFC side, like for a surprise team, and I'm not just saying this to, make sure I get to come back next week, your 49ers, man, we've been talking about it all season. How the conference title streak of either missing the playoffs or making the
Every
NFC
other year.
title
Yep. I
game.
wouldn't have thought it would have been
Yep.
this year.
And I gotta say, like, I think that if you look at the way they're built, they can't obviously have any more injuries, especially to the defense. But when you have CMC, they have George Kittle, Purdy is back, playing, I think, really well after some people questioning whether or not he should still, be the quarterback of that
I think he's
team.
ended that discussion.
I would hope so. And, Shanahan is a good coach. I think that we don't need to sleep on. That's a team with a lot of experience, which overall in that NFC, like, yes, Stafford obviously has experience, and some of the guys got experience in that NFC title run, but I don't think there's any team in the NFC with more experience than the San Francisco 49ers.
My only biggest concern is being able to stop the run because they just haven't been very good at stopping the run. And like you said, you have to stop the run in playoff football to be successful. So unless they can find some more heroes that have come out of the depth charts, it's going to be tough. Because but like you said, Purdy's playing well. Kittle's playing as good as I've seen him play in the last 5 years. And they're having one of the big things about the Niners, I think, gives them an advantage. They just have a fun culture. They just have a lot of fun when they're playing football, and I think that matters for playoff runs. You mentioned the number one seed in the NFC being so important, getting that home field advantage and that bye. Some of the number one seed convention or I don't know the word I'm trying to say.
Scenarios?
Yeah, the scenarios for clinching the number one seed. My brain still doesn't work as good as it probably should. The Los Angeles Rams are still leading the NFC West, but if they lose to Seattle this Thursday night game coming up, which is a huge Thursday night game, that could make their chances a little bit harder to get that number one seed, because then I think the Seahawks would then hold the tiebreaker for that number one seed. The Seahawks are currently tied with the Rams at 11-3. They play, like I said, they play Los Angeles in week 16 coming up. The winner taking a huge step towards that number one seed. San Francisco 49ers are one game behind those leaders in the division and in the conference, needing wins and some help from the Rams and the Seahawks. Because don't forget, the San Francisco 49ers beat both the Seahawks and the Rams earlier in the season. So if they beat the Seahawks and if the Rams lose to the Seahawks on Thursday night and the Niners win out, the Niners will be the number one seed, which would be absolutely insane. The Chicago Bears 10-4 and the Philadelphia Eagles 9-3, both in playoff contention, with the Bears potentially fighting for the division and a high seed, while Philly is in the mix but behind. They could actually end up losing the division if the Cowboys keep winning out. Keith, who do you think earns the number one seed in the NFC side of things?
I think the Rams ultimately
They have
are
the
going to be
easiest path,
able.
in my opinion.
Yeah, Falcons and Cardinals. Like they obviously a very difficult assignment on Thursday. It looks like they're not going to be not going to have obviously Devontae Adams for
Yep,
that
which he's been a
matchup. But
huge
we've
part of that offense.
seen the Rams are not afraid to play 13 personnel with multiple tight ends out there. Colby Parkinson has really come on as of late, and when you have Puka Nakua, you're okay. Not to mention they have the two backs,
Yep.
which is the other big deal. But I wasn't aware that you guys are still alive. So you need Seattle to win.
If Seattle beats
And
the
then
Rams and we win out, which is going to be a tough task, we go Colts, Bears, Seahawks to end the season. So we still have an opportunity to get that number one seed.
Yeah, but the Colts is the only road game, right? Like I think the Bears and the Seahawks are both at home.
Yep.
Uh, like that's very realistic.
Oh, it's doable
And
for sure.
I'm sure the Niners would be very fired up because the main thing is they would know what they're playing for. With again a Seattle win.
I just have to be
Thursday
a Seahawks
night.
fan on Thursday night, and I don't know if I can
Right.
do that. We'll see how that goes. A couple quick more things before your lineup there, Keith. Falcons are playing spoiler. They beat the Bucks, which made the path for the Carolina Panthers. I believe the Panthers lost too, though. So now if you would just beat the Rams next week, that would be absolutely great. And then, Keith, as we always do, let's finish with your first official look at Week 16 DFS lineup.
Yeah, don't get too many hopes up about the Falcons. If I've learned one thing in my life is they'll let you down.
Yeah, but sometimes they come out of nowhere and beat teams they shouldn't, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Well, I would say that it's hurting our first round draft pick, but oh yeah, that's right. We don't have that. So
Yeah.
this week, week 16, gonna kind of simplify it. There's a couple of games that you'll notice I have several players from. The biggest one being this Atlanta-Arizona game. I'm going to start with the QB being Jacoby Brissett, 5,300. I do not understand why his pricing has not increased. He is the surest thing just about in fantasy. He's scored 20-plus points in every one of his 9 starts this year. He's averaging right at 23 points per game as the starter this season. That is more than 9 of the 10 quarterbacks who are priced higher than him on DraftKings this week. Only Josh Allen has scored more points per game, and he has thrown multiple passing touchdowns in 8 of 9. Again, same game. Bijan Robinson, running back, 8,700 at Arizona. He scored 30-plus points in 3 of his last 5, averaging 22.25 points per game in the last 4 Kirk Cousins starts. The big thing for me here is Arizona. They're not terrible against the run. They do really struggle, though, with running backs in the passing game. They've allowed opposing running backs to catch 22 passes in just their last 5 games. And that is something Bijan obviously excels at. You need no further proof than his 8 catches for 82 yards last week versus Tampa. The other running back, it was tough to kind of get to a guy because I want to spin down here, but I'm going to go with Tyron Tracy for the New York Giants, 5,700 versus Minnesota. He turned 18 touches last week into 97 yards and 2 touchdowns, scoring 24.7 fantasy points in the process. And the Vikings are a team that they've had issues with running backs, particularly as of lately, allowing 6 touchdowns to opposing running backs in just their last 5 games. The wide receiver, the best value, I feel like this week at any position is Mike Evans, 6,300
Balled
at
out last week.
Carolina. Man,
Still
he
lost.
just, the dude, he's unbelievable, man. It's like he didn't miss a beat. It's his first game since week 7. They, targeted him 12 times. He caught half of those, 6 receptions for 132 yards, scoring 22.2 points on DraftKings. He's probably not going to get to the 1,000 receiving yard total. I think we figured it out. He would need 215 yards per game starting last week to get there. He was a little underneath that, but I do think he's going to make it closer than people think. And Carolina, I know they have J.C. Horn, but I just feel like Mike Evans owns the NFC South. The second receiver we're going to play, A.D. Mitchell, the New York Jets. At New Orleans, he's 4,500. Love indoor games this time of year. You don't have to, deal with weather. And over his last 3, volume is king in DFS. He's seen 28 targets, catching 16 passes for just under 200 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns, and he scored 17-plus points on DraftKings in 2 of his last 3. Another one that I don't think is going to change even as we get further along the week, Jalen Coker, 4,400 versus Tampa. Tampa, in case you have not noticed, have just, I don't know what happened. They can't stop the pass anymore. Teams are throwing all over them. And then Coker has sort of arrived after, dealing with injuries most of the season. Very talented receiver. He scored double digits now in 3 of his last 4. Touchdowns each of the last 2 weeks. And what I love is, again, he's seen at least 4 targets and caught at least 3 passes in his last 5 games. So for a guy in that price range, that's, pretty significant volume. The tight end, let's go with my boy Cal Pitts, 5K at Arizona. He joined Shannon Sharp as the only tight ends in NFL history with 150 receiving yards and 3 receiving touchdowns in a single game. Pitts is deciding to
About
just
time.
yeah, well, of course, because he's about to get paid. So, he's going to make it more expensive for the Falcons to keep him, or either he's going to leave and then end up having an illustrious career for somebody else. He's in the 5 games with Cousins. He's been the one definite benefactor as he's seen 44 targets, caught 33 passes, and he's finished tight end 6 or better in 4 of 5. The flex, let's go with Trey McBride, 7,600 again. In case you didn't notice,
Tight end
4
1.
players from this Atlanta-Arizona game. I expect a lot of points in it. And what's great are these are condensed offenses. Atlanta has really avoided almost all elite tight ends this season. So that's why when you look at their ranking, I think they're second. You go, oh, they're good versus tight ends. Not really. They just haven't played any. The only real elite tight end they faced this year, because you remember they did face George Kittle. That was his first game back after an injury. I don't even think he was targeted in that game. But Tyler Warren, though, they did play him, and he ended up being targeted 10 times, caught 8 passes for 99 yards. With 3 games remaining, McBride would need 16 targets and 11 receptions to break the single season record for tight ends in those statistics. Again, he's got 3 games remaining. He scored 9 touchdowns in his 9 starts with Jacoby Brissett. Do you know how many touchdowns he had in 3.5 seasons with Kyler Murray?
No idea. Not as many as
5.
that, probably. Yikes.
5. It's unbelievable. So I think that McBride is going to continue to feed fantasy football families, and so that's why he's in there. And then the defense, this is another one that I'll probably stick as a lock. I know the Cowboys are a good offense, but the Chargers at 2,400, the only reason this team is going to make the playoffs, despite, losing both their offensive tackles and just poor Justin Herbert running for his life on every play, is this defense. They've scored 8 fantasy points or more in 4 or 5 in that span over those 5 games, 14 sacks, 12 turnovers forced. And then again, this defense has been so good as of late. Opponents have scored less than 20 points against the Chargers in 6 of their last 7.
Definitely
So
keeping them in the mix, that's for sure.
something's got to, because it's definitely not the offense right now. But that is the first look at the DraftKings Week 16 lineup.
Awesome, Keith. Well, we appreciate your time as always. Always fun chatting with you. And if people want to find you, they can just go to Twitter/X, search up KEITHFLEMMING for all your great content throughout the week. Keith, I hope you have a great weekend, and please make sure the Falcons beat the Rams next week.
You got it. I'll put that on my Christmas wish list, bro.
Thank you so much. All right, take care. Have a great weekend.
Have a good one, Ryan. See you, buddy.
All right,
Bye.
take care. Bye. A lot of info there, Coach Sam, if you want to be successful in some DFS action or just, some general football action as well.
Keith knows ball.
He does know ball. He knows ball way more than I do. Way more than I do. But obviously, big game coming up here this afternoon with the UA Lady Eagles basketball team trying to be the Miami Dolphins of girls middle school basketball. What are some of the keys to the game for the ladies coming up this afternoon?
Defense. I think what's going to happen is our defense is just going to show up to play, and we don't have to score a lot of points because what was the score the last time we played Mowat? How many points did they score? I think 11?
Yeah.
10 or 11?
Yeah.
I mean, we can have one player do that. I mean, we just got to stay hot on defense. Don't foul them too much. Just stay within ourselves, and I think we should carry it away.
I like it.
I really, really do.
I like it. If you guys want to come out to any of the championship games for Bay County Middle School Athletics, we got one coming up this set. But you can also Josh Latch. I think he is a coach too. Coach Josh Latch will be live streaming on the Bay District YouTube page. If you want to check that out, I'll post that link both on the Inside Drive page and my personal page later, because I know there's a lot of people from outside the area that want to see what's going on. So he always comes out to these championship games and live streams them, which is pretty darn cool. University Academy won the earlier game, 47-23 UA over Mowat. That was earlier this season, back on November 13th. So, if we can just make our early shots and, like you said, play good defense, I'm hopeful the girls will be able to, culminate this season with another win and no losses on it. Obviously, a fun way for my daughter Ryan to go out of middle school basketball. This is her 3rd year playing middle school basketball. First couple of years, she was trying to figure out really how to play the game because she hadn't played a lot of basketball before. But now with Coach Toole's tutelage, she's really developed this year, and it's been so much fun to watch. And, of course, the boys county championship in soccer is UA is trying to go back-to-back in county championships. Last year they won it, I believe, an undefeated season as well. No, they did lose one game to Surfside, but they are playing Breakfast Point Academy tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Both of those games tonight and tomorrow will be at University Academy. And, of course, you've got some local high school games going on, too, tonight. Always try to keep everybody updated on what you can go out and see. Arnold girls basketball is taking on Freeport. Holmes County and Chipley are facing off in girls basketball as well. And then Rutherford and Bluntstown going on in boys basketball. I always tell you guys to go support these local sports, whether it's middle school, youth, or high school. Makes a big difference when there's more people in the crowds, more hype up there. I know it'll probably be pretty hyped this afternoon in that in the Jacobs.
And it's the first year the ladies have played in the UA gym.
Absolutely. So. First year for volleyball and basketball. Obviously, the boys reaped the benefits of the gym last year for their season. And that home court advantage seems to be like a good one. Coach Sam, appreciate you coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
And hopefully you have a great Christmas, all that wonderful stuff. Your new baby's first Christmas.
Yes.
That's always an exciting one.
It's going to be great.
And then eventually you'll get to the point where you got to do the elf on the shelf, should you guys choose to.
Yes. I actually bought him one this year already.
Nice. Yeah, it's one of those things. Sometimes you forget and then you got to make up stuff. But it's one of the fun things about being a parent. But again, thank you for coming on. Really enjoyed it. And hopefully we can do it again sometime soon. Maybe another one of these breaks will coincide with an opportunity for you to come on the show. Appreciate y'all tuning in. As always, it'll be posted on Apple, Spotify, all the places you can get your podcast. And of course, it was live today on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be back on Thursday for episode 32. Y'all have a great rest of your Tuesday and have a great rest of your week. We'll see you on Thursday.